Uh, is the sound okay now? So Puneet, Abhinav, Steady, do let me know please if the sound is there now, or should I make some other arrangements? Uh, okay, what you can do in the meantime, you should read the question, okay, and try to answer it. As we move to the discussion part, we will move. Okay. So Abhinav now said the sound is back. I hope now you should. Okay, everyone is saying ki sound aa gayi hai. So let's start our question again. Welcome to this series. Today our topic is cropping system and cropping pattern. Okay, we are preparing for NABARD mains examination. So here what we will do, our question will be a little bit in depth. Okay, question and both explanation. Because see, थोड़ा सा नाबार्ड का पैटर्न क्या रहता है, यूजुअली व्हाट नाबार्ड डू, जो क्वेश्चन आपके प्री में अपीयर हो गए हैं इन मेंस ऑन सेम लाइन द क्वेश्चन अपीयर. सो इस टाइम प्रीवियस ईयर के मुकाबले थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट था, सो इस टाइम आप एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं द मेंस विल बी डिफिकल्ट टू. ओके, सो प्रिपरेशन अकॉर्डिंगली करनी है आपने. So our first question, this is our first question. You can read it now and you'll have to tell the answer. So here we are discussing about the cropping system. That is our topic. So now you'll have to tell among these three statements which one is correct about the cropping system. So first statement say it mitigates the effect of adverse or the aberrant weather. It means forever changing weather. Okay, climate change आपको पता है problem है. So is the cropping system for to mitigate or to lessen the effect. Mitigate means to lessen the effect. Okay, थोड़ा सा उसको better कर लेना. The second statement say the cropping pattern used on the farm and their interaction with the resources is the cropping system. So it's basically giving us the definition. The third one say cropping system include the dairy, piggery and crop etc. So you'll have to tell which of these statement is correct. So Albert has given the answer, that is option B. He's saying only second option is correct. So do let me know the comment, the answer in the chat section. Okay. Priyanka is also going with option B. Okay. See, the first statement says that it does not mitigate the effect. The third statement says that cropping system include dairy, piggery and crop. See, here you can go with the logic when we are talking about the third point. How? We are talking about the cropping system, not farming system. Okay. जब हम कह रहे हैं कि dairy, so dairy comes under the farming. Then we are talking about piggery, it means keeping the pigs, so that is also farming. If you are talking about the aquaculture, that will be always farming. But when we talk about the cropping system, it basically deals with the crops. Okay, whatever crop you are growing, so field crops, any other kind of crop, so that is cropping system. So of course all of you are very correct. Okay, Sunny and Thinker has also given the answer. The correct answer will be option B, that is only B option is, or the second option is correct. Okay, moving to the explanation part. See, what we'll have to understand, the cropping system basically means your cropping pattern, whatever pattern it is, and management. Okay, आप cropping pattern कैसे लगा रहे हैं, crop का आपका pattern क्या है, then how you are managing the crops. Okay, irrigation, pesticides and all, how your cropping system even interacting with the other enterprises, so that all comes under the cropping system. So here we'll basically learn about the difference between cropping system and farming system. Okay, so you can read the definition from here. Quite easy definition is, this is so talking about the cropping system के parts क्या है, so that will be your monocropping, multicropping and intercropping. Talking about the farming system, so that include dairy, piggery, crops etc. ठीक है. When we are only going for crop, that become cropping system. Okay, when we are only going for, let's say, fishing, so that become fisheries. Okay, when we are only going for keeping the animal for milk, that will become dairy. So that kind of things are farming system. Then it also deals with the effect of weather. So अब आप अपनी crop किसके according करेंगे? So how is the temperature? How much is the rainfall? Relative humidity. Okay, so these all factors. So when you are cropping a crop, let's say you are sowing a crop or harvesting a crop, or you are planning to sow a crop, so आप बाहर weather तो of course check करेंगे. Okay, it's not like there is tropical condition or arid condition and you are going for the farming of some temperate let's say apple. So you can't do that. So again, example you can see here, examples you can see here. It doesn't affect the it doesn't mitigate the adverse effect of the aberrant weather. Let's say we are going for the dairy farming. Okay, so what kind of cow you are keeping won't be affecting the environment. Okay, or will not have the effect on that. So that is the crop basic things that are. But again, students, see, as I have told you, when NABARD asks for the definition, usually the whatever topics they are, whatever options that are given, they are very confusing. So do remember कि आपको पता हो, clear difference पता हो cropping system and cropping pattern के cropping system and farming system के बीच में. Then what comes under that? Okay, moving to the next question now. Okay, next just let's see. So when we are talking about the cropping system, the first one is your cropping pattern. So cropping system के अंदर सबसे पहले सबसे important चीज है what is your cropping pattern. Management comes after that. How you will manage the crop that you have ideally have a picture कि तो आप क्या grow करेंगे. So your plan come after whatever you are planning to grow. So talking about that, see, when we are talking about the cropping pattern, these are basically of two types. That is your monoculture or monocropping, then your multicropping. Moving to the multicropping, it's further get divided, and we will study the sequential cropping, intercropping, what is ratoon cropping, is there any other kind of sequential cropping, then mixed, strip, row and relay kind of intercropping. So we will study it all. Okay. Again, Jatin, see, the expectation was that the result will be announced after 20 days of exam. But seems like it थोड़ा सा पीछे हो गया result, so we can expect it last week, maybe this week particularly, or the next week. Okay, इससे ज़्यादा late होना नहीं चाहिए. Ideally, if there is no problem, the result will be announced. So moving to the question 2, one crop or variety is grown alone in the pure stand at normal density season after season or year after year in the same field, that will be known as monocropping, standalone culture, sole cropping, uni arrangement, or both A and C, that is your sole cropping and monocropping. So you will have to tell ये जो definition दे रखी है that fit which of the following options. Okay, so here what we are trying, suppose you have land and you are growing for maize. So season 1 you have grown maize, again for season 2 you have grown same crop. Okay, that is maize. Then next here for season 3 you are also going with the maize. So this kind of arrangement is what you will have to tell. So Pradeep is going with the option A, that is monocropping. So Albert is going with monocropping. Thinker is going with monocropping. Very good. Of course, monocropping is the correct one, but the other correct option is sole cropping. Okay, so the option will be both A and C. That is that was option E. Okay, so that will be your correct answer. So as you can see, what is monocropping or sole cropping? You can see year 1 we have grown maize, year 2 we have grown maize, year 3 we have grown maize. So that is your sole cropping. So first of all, what will be the good benefits or the positive effect of the sole cropping? Can anyone tell me one or two advantages of sole cropping? See, it doesn't seem like a very good idea कि आप एक ही crop को बार-बार कर रहे हैं. Then why do people do that? Okay, sure. So try to get इसके positive advantage. What are the positive advantage of the monocropping? I'll wait for few minutes, okay, so that you can write. Seems like कोई आंसर नहीं देना चाह रहा है, but I'll encourage you, okay, because descriptive writing में see you will have to advantages of monocropping. If I'll ask for disadvantages, I know you'll be able to tell many, but what will be the advantages? Of course, see Albert, okay, sure, machinery, but see when we are talking about cereals, mainly what we can do, same machinery can be used for many crops. Then what will be the advantage? So I'll start telling, but it was a good attempt by Albert. I commend you for that. So let's start with the advantages. Monocropping में advantages क्या क्या हो सकते हैं? See students, first of all seed. अगर आप monocropping कर रहे हैं, so you know what kind of seed you are. You don't have to arrange the seed, okay, and उनको sow करना that will be easy. Okay, आपको seed की density same है, बाकी सारी चीजें same है, आपको पता है germination percentage क्या है, so you can go according to that. So that become easy. Of course, machinery bhi hai advantage. Then the second advantage is easy application of what? Fertilizer and your manure, whatever you are using, then pesticide. So you know कि pest कौन से होंगे. Suppose let's say there are two crops. There is let's say maize and cotton is there. अब cotton के pest अलग अलग है, ठीक है, maize के pest अलग अलग है. Now the a pest attack is there. You don't know what medicine you should use. Okay, what pesticide you should apply. Application method different हो जाते हैं according to crop. So that is not hectic when we are talking about the monocropping. So basically farmers do that monocropping too. And also in the monocropping, intensive culture is very easy to do. Harvesting is very easy to do. Okay, क्योंकि maturing similar time पे हो रही है हम लोगों की, so we can do easily. Of course, fertilizer, pesticide that become advantage too in the case of monocropping. So that was the advantage of monocropping. Disadvantage, I think most of us can tell. See, advantage, let's say we have said कि आपको pesticide पता है, but let's see there is a pest that is particular to this crop. Let's say maize. Now, if we are not, again and again repeating the crop for the season or year by year, what will happen? The pest will, let's say in season 1, it have attacked our maize crop, ठीक है? Then we have planted some A crop, then we go for B crop, then C crop. Then the next year when we crop the maize, the particular pest that was attacking will be end. Okay, of course, pre-planning becomes easy in the case of monocropping. That was quite good answer. Okay, so that was for the sole cropping. So that was the biggest disadvantage. Okay, then diversification happens when we don't go for monocropping. So disadvantage यहाँ पे ये हो जाते हैं. Okay, so disadvantages are quite easy citing the monocropping, but advantages थोड़े से different थे. So that's why I have discussed it. Moving to the next question, which of the following statement is correct regarding the sequential cropping? So here we are talking about sequential cropping. So statement 1 said growing one crop after harvesting the first one in the same farming year is sequential cropping. So statement A is basically your definition. Then okay, Albert has given the disadvantages. Okay, risk, damage, pesticide. Okay, that was quite good. It's like putting all the eggs in one basket. That was quite a good example. Okay, moving to this crop intensification, only time dimension पे होता है when we are talking about the sequential cropping. No intercropping competition is there. Triple cropping is an example or none of the above. So you will have to tell which one is correct. Sorry, let's say which one is incorrect. Disadvantage है fertility loss, of course. Okay, again and again अगर same crop हम लोग लगा रहे हैं, so that nutrient get exhausted from the land and the productivity get lowered. And year after year, if you are repeating, okay, A, C. So here we are talking about sequential cropping. Sequential cropping. See, when we talk about sequential cropping, if you don't know the definition, try to guess it by the name. So we are talking about sequence. सीक्वेंस क्या होता है? एक के बाद दूसरे का आना, देन तीसरा, देन चौथा, अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर नंबर और अकॉर्डिंग टू द सीक्वेंस. So every kind of answer A, C, A, D are there. So here we are talking about sequential cropping. So here all the statements. Okay, so I have talked about the incorrect, so none is incorrect. Okay, so all the statements given are correct. See, you'll have to understand what the statement are saying, and as we move to the definition, we will discuss it. So first of all, sequential cropping. Sequential cropping क्या है? Let's say for a farming year, you have planned कि I will grow this crop in Rabi season, then this crop in Kharif season, then this crop in Zaid season. Or let's say only 2 Rabi and Kharif you are planning. So this is your season. So you have planned कि पहले cotton उगाएंगे. Once I have harvested the cotton, I will move to the groundnut. Or you will grow pearl millet, then you will move to potato, then you will go for groundnut. So this is a sequence. Okay. So second, the succeeding crop planted sown after the harvesting preceding crop. So here the clear difference is there. Okay, जब cotton आपकी completely harvest हो जाएगी, when the cotton is completely gone from the field, okay, it is completely harvested, then only you can sow the next crop. So there will be no overlapping between these two crops. Okay, they'll have a different life cycle. ये आपका cotton है, this one will be your groundnut. There will be no overlapping. We'll see the example of overlapping in the coming lectures, but not coming lecture, coming slides, but here there will be no overlapping. Then talking about pearl millet, potato, groundnut, again there will be no overlapping. So here see, crop intensification is happening. In one farming year, you are growing more than one crop. Okay, here let's say 2 crops you are growing. Here on the same area you are growing 3 crops. So crop intensification is happening, but the time dimension only. It means in a single time or in a single season you can't have more than one crops. Okay, जब cotton है तो only cotton should be there. There should be no other crop in the field. Okay, then talking about the groundnut, only groundnut should be there. Talking about, moving to the next example, only pearl millet, only potato, only groundnut. So time dimension, that's why in crop intensification is only happening in the time dimension. Then the farmer will manage only one crop at a time. So that is why we said overlapping when he is growing only cotton, he will focus on cotton only. Okay, he won't be worrying about the coming crops. See, वो है ही नहीं वहाँ पे. So that is why we are saying farmer will manage only one crop. See, what are the example of the cropping system? Basically, cropping system, when we say, here we can see two crop they are growing. So here we will say it is double farming or double cropping. Here triple cropping, and if you can go for four cropping, you will say that is quadruple cropping. So that was the sequential cropping के types. अब इसमें एक होता है that this was when there was no overlapping. So when there is overlapping, what is that? We will study. So which one of the following is a ratoon cropping? Okay, that now you'll have to tell. So here example are bananas, pineapple, pigeon pea, sugarcane, or all of the above. So here we are discussing the example of ratoon cropping, and as I have told you, overlapping नहीं होती है जो हमने sequential cropping पढ़ी थी, लेकिन जब होती है तो उसकी example you'll have to tell. So that is called ratooning, and example we can see Albert says option E will be the correct answer. Very good. Okay, Pradeep also going with option E. Shubham is going option D. Okay, Abhishek is also going with the option D. Rajeshwari is going with the option D. See, the correct answer will be your all of the above. That is banana, pineapple, pigeon, sugarcane, and all of the above. I understand why you are going with the sugarcane, because sugarcane is the most popular example. Okay, so that's why you are going with the sugarcane. I do understand. Let's move to the ratoon cropping now. So as you can see, what will be the ratoon cropping? So you have crop A, then it matures. Okay, what you do when you harvest it, you leave the stubble. As you can see, this was your mature crop of sugarcane. What you did after harvesting, you have left the stubble or the waste part that we said that can't be sell in the farms or the sugarcane mill or used for biofuel. You have left it in the field. What will happen after a time? This will start regrowing. So that is basically your ratoon cropping. So ratoon cropping is freshly the crop grow from stubble and suckers. So I think that word will also help you to understand why, because kin crops में suckers आते हैं, they can also come under the ratoon cropping. So it is also called stubble cropping, reharvesting, or second cropping. Example, you can see bananas and plantains are there, pineapple, forage crop, even rice, sorghum, pigeon pea, and in some other vegetables you can see the example. In cauliflower too we sometimes see the example. See here pineapple, you can see we have cut the pineapple, we left the stalk, after some time it will start regrowing. Okay, so that was the ratoon cropping. Do remember the example as we have seen in the NABARD examination this time too. Okay. See, it's up to you. See what happened. The pigeon pea take times. Okay, and sometimes farmers think that itne time I can go for other crops, so they don't go for that. But Alba, I was hoping somebody will ask that. See, for monocropping and monoculture, there is a too long debate. Okay, the sources, whatever sources there are, they are in contrast. So some are saying that when you go for year after year, okay, when you go for year after year, that will be a monocropping. Some are saying that is monoculture, but I have contacted the e-course site. Okay, in e-course, the only example, the definition I have added now, so that was from e-course. So they haven't, not really gone to the difference, but going by their definition, see what they are saying. Monocropping is when you are moving from year to year. That is completely given here. Okay, season to season, year to year. That is called monocropping. So you can say if at a time we are going for that, that will become monoculture. Okay, I'll re-explain it. Let's say we are not considering other season. So only season 1, let's say year 2022 we are considering. So year 2022 में पूरे field में you have maize grown. So that is monoculture. Okay. But what you did, you like the maize so much that you start growing it in season 2. That means 2023 में भी यही grow किया है. Then 2024 में भी आपने यही grow किया है. So that becomes monocropping or sole cropping. Okay, so that is in the eco. Even though many sources are contrasting on that. So but do be very careful. So if at 1 year only you have single crop grown, that is standalone crop that is grown for year 2022, that is monoculture. Okay. If you are growing it again and again and again, let's say in 2023, 2024, so that is monocropping. Okay, I hope the difference is clear. Again, see Sunny, this particular definition I have taken, that is from the ICAR side. Okay, the e-courses that given by ICAR. So even if the example come or the question come and you have answered this particular question, you have a background, or you can stand on your feet and say ki, okay, I have taken a trusted source and they have stated this particular definition, so I am right. Okay, so just remember this one and don't go too much in depth into monocropping and monoculture, because see ICAR itself haven't gone in there, but going by the monocropping definition, if they are saying monocropping year after year after year, so of course monoculture is when you are doing only it for the one season. Okay, so moving to the lecture again now, let's continue the lecture. So we have discussed the ratoon cropping. I hope everybody is clear on ratoon cropping. Now let's move to the next one. So growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same piece of land and the crop intensification in terms of both time and space dimension is termed as what? Multi-cropping, intercropping, strip cropping, row cropping, and all of the above. Okay. Okay, Albert says all of the above. Very good. Do attempt the question, please. So, in sequential cropping, we have said that sequential cropping, but only time was the constraint. Let's say, if time we are going, that is sequential cropping. Sequential cropping was, we have discussed the double, triple, quadruple was there. Then there was ratoon cropping, where the crop overlap. Okay, first crop जो आपने grow किया है, that is not completely, sorry, that is not overlapping. I beg your pardon, that was not overlapping, that was ratooning. Okay, the crops itself get grown from the stubble, so that was ratooning. So multi-cropping and intercropping are the answer. Again, see, when we are talking about multi-cropping is not constrained by the time and space dimension. Multi-cropping तब है, आप एक फील्ड में पैच में ग्रो करो, ठीक है, रोज में ग्रो करो, एक के बाद एक ग्रो करो, that all will be called multi cropping. But when we are giving की time and space both में होना चाहिए intensification, the answer becomes intercropping. Okay, I'll tell you the difference again. Multi cropping में that is time and space dimension is not very important. Okay, you can just go for that time and time dimension. You are doing sequential cropping. Sequential cropping is also the multi cropping, but when you are going for both time and space dimension, that becomes intercropping. I hope everybody is clear on that now. Okay, so we can see what is intercropping: growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same piece of land. Crop intensification, again in the term of space. How in the time of space? At the same time, harvesting and maturing can be done, and you can do it again. And again, we'll study the example of relay cropping. The time dimension will be cleared again. Then talking about the space, see, in the similar space, more than two crops are there. That's why intensification of the crop intensification is happening in the time dimension too. Okay, very good, Sunny and Albert too. So mixed, row, strip, and relay we will discuss. These are the types. So first of all, moving to the strip mixed cropping. So it is very easy. Sometimes mixed intercropping will be called mixed cropping too. ठीक है, so confused नहीं होना, mixed intercropping हो कि mixed cropping हो, that will be the same thing. It means there are no definite rows or definite columns in which you have grown the crop. Randomly you have sown. Let's say you have broadcasted the seed. So in that way you will get the crop in which there will be no definite rows of the crop. Okay, so that is mixed intercropping. Now you can easily see what are the disadvantages. Harvesting will be very difficult. Okay, then if the pest attack, guessing कि कौन सी crop का कौन सा pest है, how you should apply the pesticide, what kind of pesticide will be safe for both or the three crops that you have grown. So that becomes very hectic. Harvesting is very hectic. Fertilization of both crop, that becomes very hectic. So these irrigation, if you have grown the crop, both have let's say deep roots, so they'll start competing. for the moisture, so that will become problem too. So irrigation is problem. Let's say कि एक crop आपने उगा दी है जिसको पानी की कम requirement है, the other crop require too much water, so in that case there will be very much problems. Okay. See, Chauhan, what will happen? Let's say you have grown a crop in one season. Okay, then you move to B crop. Let's say this was Kharif season, now Rabi season, you have grown B crop in the same farming year. So in this case, what is happening? The crop intensification is happening in only time dimension. Okay, this is multi-cropping because एक farming year में you are getting more than one crop. So this is farming intensification, cropping intensification, but it is only happening in the time dimension. तो फिर आप ये नहीं बोलोगे कि नहीं ये हो ही नहीं सकती multi cropping. This is multi cropping, but when both are required, that is your time and space both are required for crop intensification, then you say it becomes intercropping. Okay, I hope that is clear. Okay. So I hope that is clear. So mixed intercropping, growing two or more crops simultaneously with no row arrangement. So randomly you have broadcasted, you will some kind of that arrangement will be seen in your field. X and O are both different crops. Okay. So Chauhan, if the doubt is clear, do let me know. So moving to the next question. So dash involve two or more crops grown in the same field simultaneously. More or one crop grown, distinct row arrangements is there. So we have discussed. So we have yes, more than one can happen. More than one rows can happen. 10 rows can also happen. It's up to you and up to your yield. What kind of yield you are planning? Let's say so these are your options: mixed cropping, row intercropping, strip intercropping, relay intercropping, or multi-cropping. So Albert is going with the row intercropping, that is option B. So Swechha is also going with the option row, that is option B, of course, very good. Pankaj, okay, your doubt is clear, do attempt this question now. Okay, Thinker, do attempt this question, and Sunny, do attempt the question, you have done agriculture, very good. So Arunachari is going with the option C, that is strip intercropping. Pradeep is going with the option E, that is multi-cropping. Shubham is going with the option B, that is row intercropping. So except option A, every option has come. That was good to know. So see, when we are talking about definite row, you can see the word row here. So you should know कि हम row में अलग-अलग crop grow कर रहे हैं. So row means ये एक row है crop की. Let's say this is X crop, this is O crop, this is X crop, this is O crop. Okay. So you can see here, this is crop 1, this is crop 2, and you are growing them in a row. So दो crop साथ में कर रहे हैं, so that become intercropping. Rows में कर रहे हैं, so that become row intercropping. That is option B, and Sunny and Thinker has also provided the answer. That is absolutely correct. Shubham has also given the answer. So row intercropping is the answer. Now be very careful. Mixed cropping में हमने क्या किया? Intercropping जहाँ भी आप word देखेंगे, it means एक टाइम में फील्ड में मोर देन वन क्रॉप इज देयर, सो दैट बिकम इंटरक्रॉपिंग. अब इंटरक्रॉपिंग क्लियर हो गया है. नाउ मूविंग टू द टाइप. सो व्हेन यू आर रैंडमली मिक्सिंग द सीड, okay, you randomly take seeds of 2 or 3 crops, you just randomly mix them. There is no pattern, no arrangement, so that is mixed cropping. Now what you did here, now you think okay, that is a problem, now I can't harvest very easily. So what you did now, you said okay, now I'll put the seeds in a row. So I'll plant let's say soybean here, then I plant maize here, then soybean, then maize. So this arrangement, what happening, you are doing things in a row and you are growing more than one crop, so that is row intercropping. Okay, that is row intercropping. So you can see more than one crop simultaneously is there. Productivity is influenced by specific combination, what kind of crop you are doing, what is the spacing, what is the planting. We have read about the planting pattern. Okay, see, whoever is having the doubt about the ESI class, there will be a strategy or the video you will see, and they will guide you about this ESI class. Okay, for now let's focus on the ARD static class. So moving to the next type, that is strip intercropping. So let's say again we are growing the crop in the rows, But now what we are doing, these 4 rows of crop A we are growing together, then crop B ki rows we are growing different. Okay, so what is happening? We are preparing a strip of crop A, then crop B, then crop A, then crop B. So here what we are doing, rather than making rows, okay, we are making strips. So that is very easy to guess. That is strip intercropping. I think I have explained it to you in the very simple manner, and it will be easy to understand and remember what kind of intercropping is there. Simply, what is intercropping? More than one crop is there in the field at the same time. Then talking about if you have singly mixed them and broadcasted them, that become mixed intercropping. Now you have make rows, अलग-अलग line बना दी है सारी crops की, so that become row intercropping. आपने line बना रखी है, but more than one line of single crop, then other crop, single crop, then other crop. That becomes your strip crop intercropping. Okay, you can see here in the example soybean, maize, more than one rows of soybean and more than one rows of maize is there in the diagram too. Okay, so you can see here maize, soybean, oat. We have seen the example here too. Now moving to the next question. So which is true about the relay cropping? So we have discussed about the overlapping crops. So that is our relay cropping, and we will see it. So here are your statements. Growing 2 or more crops simultaneously during the part of their life cycle of each. Okay, a second crop is planted after the first crop has reached its reproductive stage of growth, but before it is ready to harvest. Then both the crops share some part of season. Only option A is correct, or both all are correct. So Albert is going with the option E. Okay. Of course, Sunny has also provided the answer. So those who still don't understand can go for the chat. Okay. So Sunny is saying, of course, option E. So see, these all statements that we have seen, these are basically the definition. You can combine them and prepare a definition too. So Pradeep and Thinker has also given the answer E, and you will be absolutely correct. The answer is option E. So here what is happening? See, relay intercropping of relay rice, when we run, what will happen? So here you are running. Okay, you have a baton, and what you'll do, you will pass it to the next racer. So at some time you are making a contact. Okay, so that is the on that particular basis, or on the particular concept, there is a relay intercropping. So what you are doing, you have crop A. Okay, you have grown it. Okay, ये crop A है आपकी, you have grown it. Let's say it is wheat. Now what happened? Your wheat have reached the maturity. Maturity हो चुकी है complete. Okay, reproductive maturity is there. Now you have whatever gain was there, you have get it. Now what you will do before harvesting them? अभी हार्वेस्टिंग में इनकी टाइम है, ठीक है. लेट्स से 2 weeks are there, 3 weeks are there. You start sowing the next season crop in that particular time. What will happen? Again, very easily, and we can easily guess, you are saving the time. Also, when you will harvest this wheat, the residue material will act as the manure for the field, or will provide the nutrient to the next crop. So you can easily see, पहली crop just पहुंची है, हमारी maturity complete कर रखी है, but not a harvesting. And you have start growing the second crop. You can see in both example here, wheat and cotton are grown. Wheat has reached the maturity, but cotton is just sown. Okay, so जब तक wheat harvest नहीं होता, they are sharing some time together on the same field. So that is your relay intercropping. Okay, so moving to the next question now. I hope that is clear. If your doubt is not regarding the lecture, do let me know in the end. Okay, and result. Okay, I think if you join the session in between, you will ask for the result, and that is quite okay. But I'll give the result, give the answer in the end of the video. I hope that is okay. I have also given the answer once. So what is the ratio of the area needed under the sole cropping to the one intercropping at the same management level to give equal amount of yield? Read the question very carefully. What they are asking, what is the ratio? So we have been asked about the ratio. Ratio of what? The area needed under the sole cropping. So let's say case 1 है, you are growing sole cropping. I have explained the sole cropping. Field में आपने सिर्फ एक crop लगा रखी है. Let's say maize. 2 ratio पहला ले रखा है हमने sole cropping का. Then ratio of what? To the intercropping at the same management level to give equal amount of yield. Sole cropping से in 1 hectare you are getting, let's say 30 kg rice. That is quite low, but okay. So if you are doing intercropping, how much area is required? Let's say 1.2 can be there, 3 can be there. So management level same rakhna hai and yield should be equal. So you'll have to tell what will be the that. So Albert is saying with the option B, land equivalent ratio. So do let me know, is it leaf equivalent, cropping equivalent ratio, both A and C, or none of the above? So Thinker is also going with the option B, that is land equivalent ratio, and that is absolutely correct. The correct answer is your land equivalent ratio. Okay, not C, that is land equivalent ratio going by the definition. So we have studied about the first definition, you can find it here. The other language that can be used for the definition is, it is defined as relative land area under sole cropping. Okay, jitna area bhi sole cropping ke andar hai, to produce the yield from 1 hectare in intercropping. Okay, so आपने लेना है 1 hectare in sole cropping, then you'll take intercropping, and this will be the formula that you will see for calculating the land equivalent ratio. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now moving to the next slide. So here now we'll talk about the cropping system. So I have told you cropping pattern plus management, if you add, that will become your cropping system. So cropping system can be different type. Sunny, what you want me to explain? Do let me know. Is it land equivalent ratio? So I think that will be land equivalent ratio. So I'll start explaining. If it is something else, do let me know that. Okay, so when we talk about land equivalent ratio, see what is it? Relative land area under sole cropping. So you have two cases. First, you are doing sole cropping, then you are doing intercropping. I think difference is clear. Okay, so in sole cropping you are doing only, if you are talking about wheat, let's say you are only growing wheat. In sole cropping, it means you are only growing wheat. Okay, in intercropping, let's say you are doing relay cropping of cotton and wheat. So land equivalent ratio, what is that? The land under the sole cropping to produce yield from 1 hectare. You have 1 hectare land under the sole cropping, then you have 1 hectare land under the intercropping. How much yield you are getting from both, that become your ratio. Let's say जो आपका सोल क्रॉपिंग है, you are getting 30 kg rice, and here in intercropping you are getting 20 kg rice, so that cut 3/2 becomes your ratio. Okay, if you cut it, it becomes 1.5. Okay, that becomes your ratio. So that was your land equivalent ratio. I hope that is clear. So here the formula is yield base crop, it means your main crop in intercrop, by yield of base crop in sole cropping. Okay, then yield in intercrop, in yield of intercrop in intercropping, yield of intercrop in sole cropping. It means, as we have told you, rice, let's say we are talking about wheat and cotton that you have grown together. So आपको wheat की yield कितनी मिली है when you are only growing it in the intercropping. Okay, let's say 30 kg. This is first case is about wheat plus cotton. Okay, that means intercropping. So 30 kg you are getting wheat plus, let's say cotton you are getting 20 kg. So that becomes 50. Then below that there will be yield in base cropping. Let's say when you are doing the wheat in sole cropping, you are getting 31 kg. Okay, and yield of intercropping in sole cropping. That means जब आप cotton अकेले उगा रहे हो, that is wheat, that is cotton. These are the case of sole cropping. Okay, so 31 kg you are getting, and let's say 18 kg you are getting the cotton. So the ratio, if you count, that becomes your land equivalent ratio. In the similar land, if you are doing the crop, if you are growing the crop together, if you are growing them individually, what will be the ratio? That will become your land intercropping ratio. I think on that concept we also have additional concept and replacement concept. So what is that? Let's say we are talking about the main crop. So A is your main crop. So what you can do, let's say wheat is your main crop and you are doing cultivation only for wheat. Okay, so in case one, what you will do, आपने wheat, if 30 kg seeds are required per hectare, you won't adjust that. Okay, 30 kg you will take wheat and you will cultivate that. Plus, if you are planning cotton, let's say, so you are adding 2 kg cotton. So overall 32 kg seeds are getting consumed. So that is additional crop. Usually LER is higher when we are doing the additional one. Okay. Yes, of course, the Sunny has explained that. Okay. Yes, when we are talking about less than 1, that is the case of replacement. Let's say again you are planning to grow wheat and cotton together, but now what you are doing, Sole cropping में 30 kg seeds are required and yield will be accordingly. But now since you are adding the cotton to, you will have to adjust it. So what you will do, you will only take, let's say, 20 kg, okay, of the wheat, and rest it means 30 kg will require, so 10 kg you will add the cotton. Okay, so here your LER will be less than 1. Okay, in the first case, see 30 kg आप ले ही रहे थे and you are adding, so in that more than 1 is LER, but in this particular case LER is less than 1. No problem, Sunny. So that is why we have discussed the concept of LER too. Okay, so moving to the cropping system now. So cropping system are of 3 types, that is rice based, root based and grain legume based. नाम से पता चल रहा है rice based means you are growing rice. Now how you can grow the rice? You can grow rice standalone. Okay, you have taken rice variety 1, rice variety 2, rice variety 3. Okay, you can grow that. You can grow rice with the other crop. So according to that, there are mixed cropping of rice. It means you are adding various varieties of rice and you are growing them accordingly. Then intercropping with the other crop of rice. नाम से पता चल रहा है what you are doing. Intercropping you are doing of rice that will be your main crop, and with that, let's say you are adding vegetables. Let's say you are adding legumes. Let's say you are adding fodder. So that will become your intercropping of rice with other crop. Then there is Intercropping, that is basically relay. Okay, so when you are doing the relay intercropping with rice, that becomes Intercropping. Then sequential cropping of rice is also there. It means you are planning to grow rice, then rice accordingly. Okay, but you are doing it in a sequence. Now the root based system is there. This one is usually popular in the Africa, okay, continent of Africa. The root based cropping system is basically popular. So here what you do, the root crop what you have, you usually do intercropping with the help of them. Then the grain legume cropping based system. So one crop will be your grain, that means wheat, rice, maize, that will be there. The next one will be legumes, okay. Let's say moong, arhar, okay, red gram, green grams. So these kind of legumes are there. So this is very advantageous because they are grains are basically exhaustive crop and legumes are restorative crops. Okay, they add nitrogen and fix nitrogen that has been exhausted by the use of grain. So that is the grain and legume based system. Very easy. This is again in this one the rice based cropping system is very important. So we will discuss it. So moving to the next question, in mixed varietal that we have discussed, you are using more than one variety of rice. Okay. Cropping system of rice in West Bengal, the mixing of seed of early rice with the late maturing deep water rice is done in the ratio of what? See, Albert, it's up to you. Okay, the thing we have discussed here, it is according to the cropping system. Okay, so cropping pattern will be there plus management. Now this pattern can be of both types, na? Only time and space, it can be of both. But we'll have to see management here. Okay, so it can be both as per time and space dimension and only time. That will be your sequential and intercropping. That is no problem. Okay, the only thing is what a kind of crop you are doing. According to that, we have classified the cropping system. So try to give the answer here. If you are see Sunny, if you are this one particularly is applicable to intercropping, whatever intercropping we are doing. So usually what we do in intercropping, हमें कुछ चीजों का ध्यान रखना पड़ता है. So what we should keep in mind while we are going for the intercropping method. See, first of all, to reduce the competition, what we do, same variety के crop नहीं होने चाहिए. It means you will try to avoid growing legumes with legumes, or let's say cereals with cereals. So you will try to avoid them. Okay, exhaustive crop with exhaustive crop. Then you will also see one should be deep rooted, one should be shallow rooted. Then you will see height should be different. Okay, so these kind of things should be keep in advantage. Of course, tap rooted and advantageous rooted, these are keep in mind. Fibrous rooted basically, tap rooted and fibrous rooted. So these kind of system are keep in mind when we are going for the intercropping. So basically that is so that competition can be reduced and your crops should be compatible. So whenever you are doing any kind of culture in any kind of system, you should keep that in mind. Okay, Sunny is going with 1 and 2, that is option B. And if you don't know the answer of that, that is quite okay. Just try to study that. The correct answer will be your 1:1. Okay, it means you are taking two kind of variety. The one is early rice, then the other one is deep maturing डीप रूटेड मैच्योरिंग राइस. ओके, ये जल्दी आपकी प्रिपेयर हो जाएगी, वो लेट प्रिपेयर होगी. So you will add them in the ratio 1:1. So moving to the explanation part now, let's see. Mixing of seed, early rice with late maturing deep water rice. So 1:1 is there. ये क्यों होता है? Because we know flooding conditions can happen in the east region. So to avoid that we do that. Okay, कि complete loss ना हमारे crop का. So the farmers go for this particular strategy. Now in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, the same thing is done. It means varietal, different variety of rice are grown in the ratio 3:1, but one is autumn, the 3:1 is autumn, and the winter varieties are grown together. Okay. Sunny, it is 1:1. What can I tell you? See, because here we are not doing कि हमारी early rice should is the main rice. Okay, usually when we go for 1:1, it means we are putting the value to both rice on a similar way. Okay, it means both this rice and this rice both are important for me, so that's why I am going with the 1:1 variety. Okay, now moving to the intercropping of rice with other, you can see we can usually go for legumes. After that, millets are there, that we can see, maize is there, sesame is there. So that is intercropping of rice. Usually when we go intercropping, do keep in mind our rice is the main crop. So iski jo rows hongi, that will be 3 to 4. And the intercrop, it means जो main rice के बीच में उगा रहे हैं हम, to cover the space, to lessen the competition, that will be 1. Okay, so the ratio is 3:4:1. 3 to 4 will be the line or the rows of rice, then 1 will be the intercrop. Okay, जो rice की rows के बीच में. So relay and para, you can see it is some kind of relay cropping is there, that is also called para, that is also called terra. So before we cultivate or before we harvest, sorry, not cultivate, harvest the rice, we can start growing the lentil, gram pea, barseed, linseed, etc. by broadcasting them. Okay. Then we have the sequential cropping of rice. Again, sequential cropping, it means you have harvested the rice, then you are planning to grow rice again. So this can happen as rice, wheat and pulses. Then you can go for rice and barley, rice and thoria wheat, rice and wheat. Okay, this is 2 times, but rice and pea, rice and mustard. So these are different examples that you can follow when you are going to cultivate the rice under the rice-based cropping system. Okay. Yes, of course. See, we are putting the value, similar value, in both. In this, that's why 1:1 is there. Dear, that is a good explanation. Very good. I commend you for that. Moving to the next part. There is a little bit. We have talked about the space, but we have talked about the space in a horizontal way. Now we talked about the space in a vertical manner. Okay. So talking about that, let's say, you have coconut, you have black pepper, you have cacao, and you have pineapple. So you have 4 crops you have grown together, and this becomes an example of what? Alley cropping, ratoon cropping, multi-level cropping, quadruple cropping, or both C and D. So Albert is going with the C, that is multi-level. DF is also going with the option C. Okay. So Shubham is also going with the option C, that is multi-level cropping. And you all are absolutely correct. The correct answer is your multi-level cropping. Okay. So what is multi-level cropping? What is multi-level cropping? See, multi-story or multi-level. And why it is not quadruple cropping? Even though the 4 crops are there, it is because, let's say, even though there are 4 crops, they are grown together. Okay, quadruple kab hota? Once you have harvested the coconut, you start growing black pepper. Once you have completely harvested the black pepper, you started growing cacao. Then once you have completely harvested the cacao, you go for pineapple. Then you will call it quadruple cropping. Okay, but you are growing all of them together. Okay, and these plants have different height. Coconut की height ज़्यादा, black pepper की कम है, cacao की कम है, pineapple की थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा है. So they have different height system. So they are utilizing the space very efficiently. So that is why this is multi-level cropping or the multi-storeyed cropping. So we can see different height and vertical layers are get applied by or get utilized by different kind of plant. Okay. Canopy, sunlight requirement, root system are grown together, that is called multi-story cropping. So sunlight, nutrient, land, water, space most efficiently इसी system में use हो रहे हैं. So biological diversity, productivity increase होती है, soil property of course increase होती है. Do remember the example. Okay, what are the example? Especially इस case में क्या होता है? The crop that is at low height. Okay, let's say coffee is there. So usually these crop require shade. Okay, so these are shade loving plants, and the trees which are very high, let's say coconut, these are sunlight tolerant. So they can tolerate very high sunlight, and the crop that is at very low height, they are shade loving. Plants. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So Sunny has also given the answer, and also Pankaj, you have also provided the correct answer. Abhishek, Pradeep, so very good. So that was all for your lecture. So we have discussed different kind of cropping system, how they affect each other. Okay, do remember in one dimension, that is only time, then time and space dimension, then how the crop only they don't at all spend any time or any life cycle together, or sometimes they share some kind of life cycle together in your relay intercropping. So try to discuss it. And DF, I don't have answer for that. I do not remember if the pineapple is shade loving. Okay, but I don't think it is shade loving, since it is cultivated in Assam and the other areas. But I'll tell you. Okay, I'll check it and I'll tell you. So that was all for your lecture. So that was multi-storeyed and multi-level croppings. Thank you so much for attending the lecture. And those of you who are worried about the result, don't worry, the result will come. Okay, we are expecting October month में at first week or second week. But don't worry, you'll have to see जितना time आपको मिल रहा है, the more time you are getting. Okay, that is beneficial for you itself. Okay, try to remember it. People are preparing, so you'll have to also prepare. This is a competitive exam, and since mains, what will happen, the people who have cleared the prelims will appear in the mains, so they will also have a good quality of knowledge. So try to revise as much as you can and try to gain more and more knowledge. So one of you, I do remember, asked yesterday ki they try to buy the current affair course. Okay, so for that, do let me DF, I think there will, if the result get delayed, there will be less time before the mains. अगर result आपका जल्दी appear होगा, so they might give you 2 to let's say 4 weeks. But if the result itself is getting announced in the 4 week, you should expect that there will be 2 weeks or lesser. Okay. Let's see what will be the result and when will be the next mains. We will see to that. Sunny, I'll tell you the people who are talking about strategy regarding ESI or any other factor, do let me know. For strategy, there will be a different session. Since I am not very capable of telling you, there are people who are very capable. So ma'am will tell, sir will come, okay, they will tell you. And I think the classes of English will be held from, I think, Monday. So try to attend that. I'll inform you, okay, if my lecture is at 3, I'll try to inform you if the lecture is there on, I think it will be from 5 p.m. So try to attend it for English session. So English will be practiced there too. So somebody asked about the CA, okay, current affairs. So do let me inform you. If you are buying any of the course, any of our course, okay, let's say you are buying crash course, okay, you are buying the course that is only for the mains. So any course you buy, you will get a current affair part, okay. But individually, if you want CA, that won't be there for you. So there is no provision for that. So I'm sorry, but that was all for the class. I hope everybody is cleared on their doubts. If any doubt persists, do let me know. Thank you so much. If there is any doubt, do let me know. The pleasure is on mine that you attended the session. Thank you so much. So I think no doubt are coming. Everybody is clear on the doubt. So let's have a nice day and we'll meet tomorrow.